Hey, Collective. So, if there's one lesson that I want you to remember from this channel that you can come back to time and time again, it would be to embed this belief deep, deep, deep into your subconscious. Repeat it daily until it feels absolutely true. And if you do, I promise, no matter what happens in the world to come, you're going to be all right. Nothing that isn't of God has the slightest power to harm me. Nothing that isn't of God has the slightest power to harm me. If you could truly integrate this belief into your experience, your basic lens on the world, then 99% of the potential threats that would come towards you will either drop away or they'll come and they'll bounce off your energy field helpless. Now, I understand this is very, very hard to believe. Trust me, the last year and a half or so when I was doing Find Your Calling Fast, I got tested many times by some of the scariest situations that targeted my deepest fears. My daughter being harmed, police officers coming after me from every state and every angle for no reason, and me isolated because almost all of my close contacts, friends, family had been drawn to work against me. My communications had been blocked. And there were times where I felt really helpless. There were even times where the people who wanted to shut me up were creating warrants and things, false warrants to try to enslave me with them. There were all kinds of very scary, big forces that seemed to be coming against me. And after getting triggered enough, and feeling a lot of the fears that would come up, and then going to God, inviting God in, calling justice, right? Calling for justice, the divine law to protect me. Eventually, I stopped taking it as seriously because I'd worked through the fears. And then I had a moment. I was in Denver on a brief layover, and there were some cops coming down the street, and I had been so harangued by them that I was like afraid they were going to be looking for me. And then a laugh came over me, and that phrase entered my mind. Nothing that isn't of God has the slightest power to harm me. And I asked Jesus, I said, wait a minute, is that true? He said, yep. And with that laugh, my fear of cops went away. And since that time, I really haven't been stalked since. And I began to understand, wow, so we're living in a reality which is kind of like a 5D reality. And whatever fears we hold deep within, we, in a sense, have a program in that fear that attracts it to us. But if we actually know ourselves, our true identity, beyond the Matrix avatar that we've created, if we can come to know ourselves as that, and come to see our fears but not identify with them, to release them with joy, maybe easier said than done. But if we can do that and repeat this phrase and know it to be true, we are suddenly untouchable by those external forces. Now, again, this may seem very incredible. It would have to, because our minds have been programmed by the Matrix to believe that the power is outside. But understand, the secret to escaping the Matrix is taking our power back from those deeply programmed projections. And I don't know what the future holds per se, but if you look at the news, this year's already off to a bang. And all of our sacred cows are tumbling, planes are crashing every 3 minutes, fires raging, icons of Hollywood being exposed, some of the darkest stuff. Everything that we took for granted as being true just a couple years ago seems to be on its head. So I would imagine there's going to be even more scary stuff coming forward in the years to come. Maybe scarier stuff than we've seen ever before. So I would urge you, in preparation for this, what may look like Armageddon, I would urge you to integrate this belief. Nothing that isn't of God has the slightest power to harm me. And practice it anytime you feel triggered until you can really own it. Because I would tell you, or ask you to consider, that doing so, integrating that belief, will be the key for you, as Armageddon happens, being delivered into the new earth, an earth whose time has long been promised, an earth who, as the matrix crumbles, time has come. My friend, nothing that isn't of God has the slightest power to harm you. Please consider, who do you think you are that isn't of God? The ego parts? Please consider looking at them, giving them a hug, and telling them goodbye. Find out who you are, your true safety. Learn to laugh at your fears while staying aware of your environment. If you do, I believe you will be joining the creation of this new earth along with me and all those who are called to be a part of this beautiful future unfolding. The kingdom is present. Our challenge is seeing it. Changing our programs like this. This one belief get you a long way there. Get you a long way towards seeing it and being it. Being the change the world has been waiting for.